3, a win apiece for each team. And the Rise is banned away, the Nidalee, we're starting to see the patterns once again emerge.
Yeah, and you could drop the Azir ban if you're RG2, and that's what they're doing with the Kalista ban here instead. And the reason is very simple. First of all, he's already playing a control mage in mid with the Orianna. You can still give him an Azir, and you want to play the same way. You want to play away from PowerOfEvil, control the side lanes and gank them. So whichever control mage he plays, technically for G2 doesn't change much in their game plan. And I like this Kalista ban. Again, you target that 2v2 that was so difficult to deal with.
And in the best of series, when you have some leeway still, you're not on like on knife's edge, you know, at the end of the series, I think it's generally a good idea to ban out teams or picks that dominated the last game, regardless of whether you maybe, you know, set yourself up to fade. Just put people out of their comfort zone, because I'm sure Zven would just love to play like Kalista again and have a similar impact.
And now Origen has such a big problem, because if they don't take Sivir and give it over to G2, then Ezreal was the fallback AD carry for Zven. But you still want to run these control mages in mid for PowerOfEvil, and then you have double scaling lanes again, unless we see that Lissandra coming in for PowerOfEvil. Maybe the Karma mid we know he likes to play. G2 giving over the Braum here potentially for Mithy, saying we actually value the Ekko higher.
Interesting decisions.
Definitely the value of the Sivir pick went up because
Yes.
some of the stronger lane champions against her went down. We've also seen so far in play as the Braum is a fantastic pick later on against Sivir, because the Ricochet particle just gets destroyed. So no more bouncing crits in teamfights. Also Boomerang Blade immediately stopped by that Braum shield. So it almost has to be the Braum here for Mithy. And for the rest, I think Origen is going to just hide as much as they can. Pick the generic tank of their choice.
Yeah.
It's not even a champion, so you have a list of 4 tanks. So when you go with a big group to a restaurant, they limit your menu down to like 4 things you can choose from. That sadly is top lane right now.
Maokai's on the menu. And that, of course, means we follow the formula, but
Yeah, we didn't get to
the end.
we didn't get to predict the pick here coming in for
Yeah,
hybrid.
somebody was ranting about
But it was the Bard,
Who was that?
which has been his go-to pick when Braum is gone. And also in this case here, G2 just lost because they had a weaker 2v2 lane. They very clearly want to play standard lanes. Now you have the range support on your side. Sivir for pushing all the time. So the pick makes a lot of sense. And I mean, Graves, we don't even need to talk much about him. And Ezreal was the go-to option for Zven before.
It has to be the Ezreal at this point. Because otherwise it's so hard. He had a mild hover over Jhin, but it's impossible to play that into hyper mobile champions as well as Tempered Fate. So there's no other choice left than the Ezreal for deals, I feel.
This is a pick, by the way, that's been banned against PowerOfEvil for the last 7 games. The Azir. It's not a pick we've seen him really dominate on before. But clearly in scrims, he must have been very, very good on this champion. And now he gets to show it here in game 3. But it is another scaling mage together with a scaling AD carry. And man, Perkz is ready.
That was quick.
Insta-lock.
That's going to be a bloody mid lane.
And that's maybe why they put such high priority on the Ekko early, just to get a magic damage component into their draft that also has a little bit of damage compared to some of the other tanks.
Still a little bit too little magic damage for G2 if you look at the overall composition.
They got a Bard, man. They're fine.
Very, very physical. very, very focused around physical
Whack
damage.
away with
I
those
will
memes
trust
in
your
their
judgment.
face. 1v1 the enemy AD carry.
Oh, man.
Obviously, we have to remember it is harder for carries to itemize against physical damage compared to against magic damage, with Maw and Abyssal being like extremely strong items. As a mid lane mage, it's like an hourglass, but you don't want to build it very early normally. Against the Zed, however, you do have to build into this hourglass. A lot of players like to go like arm guard and then complete an item and then complete the hourglass a second.
But Origen right now, they're looking at a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of scenario. They need to lane swap to dodge some of these honestly horrific matchups. But then, even in a lane swap, the tempo advantage will go to the Sivir Bard Ekko combo overall. So I think G2 have a really good early game draft so far to kind of play the map and enable the Zed to snowball. They can make it work.
All on the line. See if they can pick up another victory here. Origen have that momentum, and they switch things up with the Azir being unlocked for PowerOfEvil. He does pick it up in spades, and that is going to be a real interesting one in the mid. If you think OG can take this one away, keep on tweeting #OGWin, or if G2 Esports will grab this one. Well, of course, you know what to do. It's #G2Win. We're loading up onto the Rift. It's game number 3. It's already been a hell of a series. Let's see how it continues.
Yeah, but what a fantastic kite composition, though, that Origen is winning. Imagine in a late game when the game is even and G2 is forced to rush at them. There's no way they're going to tear through the front line of Maokai Braum and then run into an Azir and an Ezreal. So the kite aspect,
Yeah.
is definitely there for Origen.
Trust me though, G2 is saying if we go late game, it's over anyway.
Yeah.
We don't actually care about what they can do late game. When you have a Zed, you know it's all about the first 30, 35 minutes. Snowballing there. Again, it's a 1-3-1 setup, but with a kill lane in the side lane.
It's what Perkz was trying to do in game number 1, and definitely did it on that LeBlanc, which he hasn't been allowed since. Origen going for the deep invade here. It's only Trick to spot them. And they're in the brush. Oh, for a second. Amazing steps out, but Trick does take a Mystic shot.
They didn't see anyone. They were afraid to check into multiple members because G2 knows that Origen are looking for a lane swap. And then you will very often invade into enemy jungle. So one of the counter plays is sitting there with 5 and wait. And when they walk into face check, you just kill them, you win, you push them out, and suddenly they don't get any deep wards and you get a first blood.
All right, Emperor is going to reveal very early here. 4 deep wards being placed by Origen. It's a little
They're not going to lane.
counterintuitive.
Ooh, they're gonna see them.
Oh, just barely dodging out.
That's Origen actually being a little greedy themselves. Kind of trying to rush into that brush. G2 face checking blind into the enemy jungle.
Your jungle, which now belongs to the enemy.
Yeah, very ill-advised overall. They can be happy with the outcome, kinda, that they didn't die there. They still, and they get the standard lane, so I think they're very happy overall, actually.
G2 definitely winning out on this one. Origen kind of focused everything on trying to force an early summoner to get a lane advantage, get into lane faster as well, but really this pick and ban phase was extremely interesting with the adaptations. You know, dropping the Azir ban, as we talked about, ban away Kalista, and the reason it's Kalista and not Thresh is because, first of all, you can still play Bard. You haven't had another range support with Kalista.
Kalista's the enabler in that
Right.
combination.
And also G2 knew that they were going to early pick the Ekko instead of Braum, so if they'd banned away another support, it would have made it very difficult for them to then also get that Bard later on. So I like how they're actually adapting. Tough to say something to get it out.
Adapted in a series.
I'm glad you were able to adapt to that particular word there. Hybrid takes a magical journey, and he has to burn the flash. Look at that. All of a sudden, Amazing out of nowhere. The heal comes in. Amazing's going to commit to this, and he gets first blood, and he gets out.
So Amazing started. Enemy red buff. We saw that invade from Origen before, and just sneaking in behind them, and
Right in mid.
going aggressive.
Exhaust just finishes the channel, and quick flash from PowerOfEvil to get away from Trick.
I feel like we saw this in game 1. Perkz goes very aggressive for a trade. He's okay actually losing out slightly on the trade because then Trick joins. But look at this. Start red buff, obviously from Amazing, catch another camp on top side, and then just invade.
Yeah, poor Hybrid. He thought he was so smart skilling Magical Journey on level 2. Usually the bards go for the health relic, but then he ran straight into the enemy jungler. Got kind of caught off guard there, and that was a very early gank from Amazing. Honestly, really good adaptation.
It's already starting to look like game number 1, except it's Origen who were able to put the early pressure on, and Amazing, he had a pretty solid performance on Kindred in the last game, a tougher one in game number 1, but we saw he could play aggressive junglers like this in previous weeks.
Mainly been the Kindred for him.
That's what I mean by aggressive junglers.
Right, yeah.
Who else do you think I'm talking about?
Just the Kindred. Well, then Italy, which they ban away, obviously on the side of Origen every time.
And you're done with your jungle conversation.
Pretty much.
There we go.
It's the check boxes. All right, let's take a look back up to the top side. Hybrid this time, after he gets punished there, he burns his Ignite and his Flash and still doesn't get out alive. So he's got to lick his wounds a little bit.
Hasn't his weekend
back up.
exclusively been Kindred blue side, Graves red side?
So far, so good,
yes.
What a fantastic metagame we're playing.
We do like to first pick Kindred here, and then ban Italy in every single game.
Yeah, a little part of me was hoping that Zven was going to pick it up because he played at AD carry like all those weeks ago, and I was like, come on. And then take Graves and deny. But no fun.
I actually like that. Could be a good cheese pivot.
Yeah. It's a good thing they can't hear me. I'm not giving them any strats.
The Pyro strats.
The Pyro strats.
What made you
goes on stage, you know?
Yeah.
What made you win this champion? Well, we listened to Pyrotechnic.
Hey man, I'll take that guarantee. All right, Trick gets denied a little bit of his own jungle here, and he has to back away. Origen really committing heavy on that top side, but it's working well for him.
I like to see OG here to swap to the bottom side. You can see Zven is sitting on the bottom side, waiting. Moving down to the bottom side now after invading. I think his support invade and simply just pushing your lane. If you get a free recall, then swap the lanes around because you know 2v2 it is difficult for you.
And you're sitting on tier call.
Yeah.
You just want the earliest tier call timing that you can. Play low econ. And just farm from afar.
Obviously they got a great start with that early gank coming in from Amazing, so good adaptation from Origen and smart early game moves. Kikis will realize he's about to get ganked.
Flash.
Parallel convergence, and Mithy jumps right into it. Amazing trying to hunt him down. There's a quick flash to get away from that one. He's safe for now at the cost of a summoner spell.
Now we have to look at this mid lane because Perkz is about to hit level 6 and there's no exhaust for PowerOfEvil, so he can all in him. Remember that all in from before, forcing summoners? That just sets up the Zed. A few minutes later.
And they're going to turn their attention towards topside first. The magical journey is taken by Hybrid and Trick. And Kikis, oh, they're on the wrong side of the tower. Uh-oh.
Oh, what's him take the journey now? So it's,
oh no, he goes away! Meanwhile, back to mid, Power is going way too low. The death mark will pop, and Perkz will pick it up. SoaZ now flashing is Trick to try and chase him down. Let's see if he can get the last shot to take the kill. It's Emperor who gets it.
SoaZ almost with the ultimate mind game. Clicking the portal right before it expires would actually mean he survived that play. So close. A little overeager from Hybrid going to the wrong side. But yeah, exactly as Lord Master Deficio predicted here. Level 6, Zed all in with the Ignite, gets the kill.
We get ourselves a lane swap after all. Fast tower pushes after a couple of kills.
Well, obviously some other things happened around top lane. The reason they could set up that TP play was because Zven were waiting for that tier in base and he got fairly delayed moving to that bottom side. So Origen was slightly behind in terms of tempo when it came to pushing into that tower and setting up a TP play on enemy top laner. G2 could do it faster, managed to pull off the play, get another kill, get a tower. Perkz gets interrupted, but I think he's okay.
Definitely a little bit more than okay with the CS lead he's rocking. As soon as he backs, he'll be able to upgrade that serrated Durkin. But Power, oh, he might get taken out instead. Emperor's Divide, oh, he's still hanging on to life here. One auto is all he needs. Power's caught. Oh no, he's got Trick there. Okay, let's see if he goes for this one. Lifesteal's back up. Trick chasing him down. There's the exhaust on, and PowerOfEvil gets himself baited as Hybrid takes the kill.
Yeah, no one man should chase all that power, so they take 3 instead, take him down. Here's Hybrid. Look at SoaZ here. He's trying to figure out how the hell do I get out of this situation.
And look at your minimap. Down the bottom lane, look how far behind OG is with this play. So
right now, click it!
They couldn't do it. Ah, SoaZ, click it. He does, of course, bait Emperor to flash with his face straight into the wall.
Nice bait.
There we go. All planned by SoaZ. When you played for like 5 years, you've been here before, you tried this.
It always works.
Except
that time. There we go. So with the way things stand right now, G2 are holding on to that lead. It's not massive, but we're only 8 minutes into the game, and it has been still fairly bloody. Emperor now by himself, or is he?
Yeah, Mithy had some really good deep wards here in enemy jungle, so they can actually spot Spirit or Trick while they're lurking around. Very similar in style to Spirit, still on a different team.
Played yesterday for 5 games.
Yeah.
Also played Graves. Yeah, I also played a lot of Graves. Perkz is, by the way, looking for more all-ins, because once again, there's no exhaust for PowerOfEvil.
Oh, that's half his health already. Goes in for the death mark, and Kikis was there to back him up. That is going to proc. Not enough damage, but Perkz will hunt him down, and Shadow step back to safety. Slowed down, though. He might get punished by Amazing. Flash forward, turns around. Perkz, life-stealing it all up. Not enough, as Amazing gets the kill.
Don't think Perkz expected a heal to come in from Emperor, but actually would have saved him. They're going for more Pyra.
Yeah, looking for Mithy or turn their attention towards Amazing, but they are able to get away back to their own jungle. It has been absolutely nuts, and G2 coming up a little bit better.
Yeah, just a lot of aggression across the board. Hybrid still looking for some warm-up, some practice on those cosmic bindings. That's fine. He's just calibrating his aim, obviously.
He's aiming for late game. If you keep missing in the early game, at some point you will hit.
Now, he's just playing.
Isn't that right, Preppo?
He's playing against bad players. If they were better than this, they would have walked into it.
Of course. Whenever someone jukes your skill shot, he's
their
bad.
fault.
Yeah, he should juke the other way. So, we talked about PowerOfEvil not having exhaust because he was also chasing for those kills. A big mistake earlier from him. He goes down. Actually, looks like he's surviving. Last Q from Perkz comes in. And then look what happens after.
Didn't juke.
Perkz gets baited a little bit here. Because Emperor actually steps up, pops heal onto him, but Perkz thought he was dead, so he just wanted to deal some damage before dying. Obviously also made he stepped close to Emperor and got that heal. You can then debate, would he have gotten it otherwise and died? Yeah. Point is, someone went down.
Hey, it even juked me, man. I thought he got lifesteal, and then I was like, oh, that's the heal.
I suddenly thought those relics from Bard were actually more broken than I thought it was. But it was the heal overall.
Yeah. So, all said and done, Origen do manage to lock themselves up a first dragon. That'll start giving them a bit more headway into this, the AD and AP that they have picked up for, but they still have to respect the damage from Perkz. He's starting to get on a roll.
Yeah, he's getting on a roll, and it's about 3 more minutes, maybe 5, before he starts looking at side lanes, and then Emperor comes over and tags in. and just takes over mid-wave clear duty. And that's kind of the point of where G2's composition is extremely strong. 1-3-1, one split push-oriented assassin, and then a teleport to either TP mid or bot.
Yeah, I just want to see G2 set up a play bot lane now with teleport and Perkz roaming down as well if he can.
Might get your win here.
Zven, so they do get the play.
Okay, they stop the tower for just a couple seconds, and Zven has no health bar. Emperor will grab him. That is 3 members of G2 right on there, 1, 2, 3, before Amazing can even get involved.
And this is game 1 all over again, because Perkz is stuck in mid because he's getting pushed in by 2 members. Now he's also getting caught.
Yep, Mithy was right there. Deathmark is onto him, seeing if he can try to turn the damage. Does get stunned up by SoaZ. The Unbreakable's on. Amazing is trapped under turret himself. It does get the heal from the Lamb's Respite, but it's not enough as Kikis bats him away, and that still will be tower in the bottom.
Yeah, Perkz keeping 2 members busy in the mid lane. The remaining members of G2 are dealing with the threats in the bottom lane, and PowerOfEvil farming in the top lane.
OG's again losing a little bit of control. I think that play was very predictable. Like, there's only one lane to aim for if you are G2. That's the bot lane tier 1 tower. You're not going to try and siege mid against an Azir with a Zed. So you're gonna obviously focus bot lane here, and ideally again the Zed pushes in, moves down, and you have a 5v4. Zven should never just stay here on his own with no backup against this team from G2 who can dive him so easily. And again, as we talked about, that was the only lane they could go for. So you have to be able to predict that play.
Yeah, pressure on all 3 lanes at once, while mid lane, Zed is just keeping 2 people busy here. Kikis comes in. Power has to shift to the top lane to deal with the threat from Kikis, but then he just disappears, and G2 is just overall completely 1 step ahead, and they're reading Origen like a book and exploiting some of these, you know, weaker points in the game that they have with their drops.
And now you get the Zed in the side lane, because all he was waiting for again was that last tier 1 tower in his side lane to die. Split him, or put him in a side lane now, play the long lanes where you have kill pressure. And wherever the objective is you're aiming for, that's where you put your Zed. So that's where you put your strong kill lane. In this case, Rift Hell was the objective for G2, so you put your Zed top side. Now they're gonna kill it for free. That means you put your Zed on bottom side. And you start playing in towards that lane, because then Dragon will respawn in like 2 or 3 minutes time. You can secure that one very easily, and you keep moving your kill lane around, which is the assassin. And then you spread out OGs.
And no one has been able to deal with him so far. Even with 2 members, he's managing to slip away. PowerOfEvil has had such a hard time in this mid lane matchup, and despite the fact that G2 had been banning, a lot of people banning it against him. 0-3-0 to start this game off, and he's down 15 CS versus the Zed.
G2 is hovering around mid, obviously has the bot ulti they can use on the tower if they want to set up a big play. Nicely pointed out by Krepo here,
yeah,
knowing the play.
At this point, I'm pointing at the screen because I don't want to infuriate people anymore by talking about Bard. I'm like, fish show, just point it out. But he foiled my plan.
You can say it, don't worry. They are setting up the play.
Speaking of, indeed, the parallel convergence comes down, but OG slip away from this one. This tower is not going to be around for long, however. Perkz tried to get in on the outside, but he was thwarted as well.
And it just has a lot of unseen threats, because Origen know they can't clump up right under the tower. Fate can come out at any point,
and it
actually
catches Mithy.
Or just the tower.
Don't get Mithy on that one. Hybrid a little bit low, but they just keep on going for it. Kikis will take down PowerOfEvil just off the screen.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of that play. Regardless whether it connects on a lot of people or not, they will either step too far backwards to be out of the fight, and then the tower can easily be taken down. If not, they can even connect on Mithy. Slight mistiming again from Hybrid, but it's still Net's gonna kill. Really good Tempered Fate, opening for that play. Kikis now.
Oh,
he's too far.
That was a bit too bold. Now Perkz is taking the 1v2, turns on to Zven and pops him down. Stunned by the Braum, but he doesn't care.
All right, Perkovic is back. Game 1, fantastic LeBlanc. Game 3 on Assassin on Zed. Let's just forget about that Twisted Fate game, and he has fantastic series so far.
So this is a good play by G2, knowing there's not really a side lane to pressure at the moment, so just go for that low mid tower. In the end, they pick up that 1 kill on PowerOfEvil, and this again is an Azir that's been banned in 7 games in a row here in playoffs against Origen. PowerOfEvil's been playing aggressive with it, using exhaust, meaning the Perkz had chances to then all in him later. We talked about the level 6 he went for, then PowerOfEvil chased for that kill after in the jungle and almost picked up a kill, but again, would have used another summoner.
Power just hasn't been able to have much of his impact felt at all. Amazing, he's been the hero that they've needed, if anything.
And at this point, you need a QSS against the Zed, but you're so far behind in your build, and even when you get it, you may still just get straight up blown up, so it is almost a lose-lose situation for Origen.
Yeah, if you are Azir, again, you want your Hourglass because you need damage at the same time, but it's a very expensive item, which is one of the most annoying things when you play against an AD assassin, because you don't really want to rush it. It makes you too weak otherwise, but you also need it very early on in the game, otherwise you have absolutely no pressure in your lane. And we just have to question Origen running with another scaling AD carry and control mage. As pointed out in Pick Memphis, like, Lissandra is there if you want to have more early power, and deny that Zed pick as well.
Might have to mix some things up here, and SoaZ, he finds himself caught. The Time Winder keeps on swinging. Lambs or Spites thrown down. They didn't get enough damage, but they will find the Tempered Fate, and SoaZ is held in stasis before he can advance and taken down, but that is a lot of damage he dealt on the backside of that one. Meanwhile, though, Perkz just snipes down Zven. He's going to go down for it, though. Shutdown gold, hey.
But the use of honestly, of zone from G2, they basically tell SoaZ, you can't go here, you have to walk here. Then the stun from the Bard connects. Then once he walks out of that Lamb's Respite, Tempered Fate connects, so they're complete control of all these plays, and worst case, they always have the magical journey to get out.
Yeah, and look at all these options they have. Ekko W, Bot ulti, as you just highlighted, smoke screen, as well from Trick. Like, you can block the entire lane and whoops.
I don't know, Hybrid. Let's just blame it on the stage. He's playing in front of his home crowd, you know, very nervous. A lot of Dutch people here. It's looking good.
Or he wanted to bait his team.
Some journeys are less magical than others. This Dragon will go over to G2, though. That's their number one. We're 17 minutes into this game. G2 are just, they're starting to pull ahead pretty big. That's 4K gold lead.
And now we're going to get the 1-3-1 set up one more time. We've seen this before.
Yay, yay, yay. He just chases deep.
The joy of playing AD carry against assassins like
Zven
Zed.
hates this. If you play with him in Dynamic here or something and that happens, he's like, yeah, nice game, okay.
I mean, this is where you get your first item as an AD carry and you just go Q Zed. Like, all right, I'm just going to survive the all-in. The problem is Zed will still jump you and just get you down to like 10% HP.
You're essentially taken out of the fight before it even starts because you have no damage. But if you stay in, you die in 2 seconds, so it's incredibly hard to play scaling AD carry from behind against Perkz Zed.
And man, again, keep talking about it. Lissandra, where is she? She's really good against Zed, which means if you blind pick her, Zed is not going to be the pick into her. Instead, you go with Azir. Perkz instant locks the Zed, wins the lane.
Have to start to question Origen's pick and ban strategy.
I mean,
Choice they've been making in game 2.
It's the beauty of a series, however.
Yeah.
Gauntlet has been thrown. Origen reacted well in game 2.
Kikis now.
Off guard.
Oh, amazing. He is just going all in forward for this one, but Kikis just trying to run his way to safety. There is not enough damage they found on him, but Power senses his time is now, but not just yet. As Kikis goes back in time for the escape.
Waited for the cooldown as well, jumps back and then sneaks over the wall. A little sidestep from him. Perkz pushing on top side. Now the rest of G2 is moving over. Again, that bot ulti on tower.
On the hunt.
Behind
They
tower.
do throw it, but they whiff it. Doesn't matter. They're still able to
Zoning,
take
he was
this one
zoning, he was
down.
zoning. He didn't want to actually hit the tower because they want to kill the tower.
Yeah.
He isolated the tower with that Tempered Fate. Tried to catch some people behind.
Might isolate Power. Oh, he's caught on the Cosmic Binding, but they don't have enough chase to follow this one up. G2 are just going hunting right now. And OG are starting to look like fish in a barrel.
G2 gets to play their style from game 1. Assassin mid lane, move him to side lane. High tempo, go for these plays and Kikis. Normally, you would say don't push up this far on your own, but at the same time, his team is already pushing top lane. So this is fine for him to buy time and pull down multiple members.
He had that solo kill earlier, and he just whoop goes over the wall. He's just feeling it right now. You know, he wants to toy with his opponents. This is the mental war game comes in right now.
That's something you can do in a split push situation when your team is already pushing on the other side of the map, because then they can suddenly get something if 2 or 3 guys comes down to kill you. Random Tryndamere from solo queue who's pushing inhib when the rest of his team is in base is not the way to do it.
I do know about this strategy. I sense
some frustration here, gentlemen.
Yeah.
I've been the Tryndamere. I admit.
It was I.
It was me all along.
It really is just beautiful League of Legends because you have these smart plays back and forth, but you also have them not afraid to dive in. G2, I mean, they're one of these teams that they can play multifaceted in that sense. And OG are showing that they have a hard time reacting to it when they commit to the scaling. We have to see things change. I know we keep coming back to it, but you guys are right. You've convinced me.
Thank you, Pyra.
Pyra, you're back. I feel like a cult.
Yeah.
Just an anti-scaling cult. Amazing dog. Getting caught here. Hybrid looking for Tempered Fate.
I do like this Kindred, but right now it is going to be in some trouble. Mithy jumps right forward, and Perkz is just going wild. He does get pinballed up and around, but he's staying alive on this one before Zven will finally take him down. SoaZ in the middle. They might be able to turn this fight, but it is just so damn bloody. A double kill for the tree as they chase them all over. And Origen trade 1 for 3 and still chasing.
Yeah, a really good start there. But Perkz tried to get into the Lamb's Respite Club, but access denied for Miners. twice. He just got knocked into that Azir wall, bounced back, and he just couldn't get in there. Kikis right now looking to foul. A little bit of over-eagerness. Honestly, that was G2 not having faith in the hybrid landing that Cosmic Binding.
Start to see a few cracks in the armor. 20 minutes into the clock, and Origen make the call.
Azir
Go for Baron.
incredibly quickly with Kindred and Ezreal.
Very low though for PowerOfEvil, staying very far out, just letting the soldiers of course do all the damage. Trick.
He's gonna get there in time.
Has
He jumps in, and he's oh my goodness! Trick is able to take the Baron away just as his team respawns. Origen get robbed.
You shouldn't be able to do this.
But he did.
Like, you can't take such a bad fight where you chase in, you die in a Kindred ulti. Zven.
Flash it, all right.
Not the same player.
Okay. Glad we established that. I can't believe G2 just bought themselves right back into this one. Azir turret comes up. That's not going to last very long. G2 are back in business.
But man, that fight again, it came so much earlier in this game where they were over-aggressive. It gives a few kills to the scaling comp. And then, of course, Trick walks in. MVP.
And then the
This split.
I just want to see a replay of the collective player cams from Origen when that Baron gets stolen. That just has to be all your hope dangled in front of you and then just taken away. I mean, not much to say here. Let's just see how close it was. Smites get used.
718.
Took it with Smite,
Yeah,
I feel.
he did. Like, it becomes a 50-50 here, because normally as a jungler, you want to tell your team, okay, at like 1,500 we burst it, and then he's ready to smite us right after he makes the call. But in this case here, when Trick jumps in, everyone panics a little bit, and they're both hitting the Baron at the same time, following the same timer. It becomes a 50-50 then.
It's the definition of worth right there, though, as Trick gives his life to secure the Baron for his team. Baron power play, 2,700, too. At the back of it, they were able to take some more ground back for themselves, and now Dragon will be up in a few more moments, and even though that's not been the primary objective for a long, long, long time, G2 can try to use it to bait out Origen, or at least just keep the waves on push with the 1-3-1.
Yeah, G2 almost plays too fast to go for these early Dragons, even though it is smart if you have a composition who is going to get outskilled and can't really siege properly. But because they have this Ekko Bard combination, they're not afraid of diving towers, and they value that above try and snowball with Dragons. Just say, worst case, we bottle to the tower and go for the fight.
I mean, they just play without an insurance. That's the thing. Usually when you're in an early game competition.
Yep. Well, that's illegal in some countries, you guys.
Crowd.
Everybody's gone gold. Here we go. Teleport coming on in on this one, and they don't want to take it. False alarm.
Ulti down though. Again, it's important for Hybrid to have it, because either again you use it on tower to go for the kills, or use it behind the tower to zone them off it and take the tower.
Or you just use it on the Kindred ulti in a fight. It's really good at negating a lot of its use. That's such a versatile ultimate.
Yeah, lateral damage. Yeah, Perkz just throws out the shadow, and that's always a huge threat. The damage he's able to deal, and he's even a little bit more tanky with the Mom Mortius completed to stay alive for the magic damage burst. Origen have to keep on their toes constantly.
So easy for Zed to itemize against these mages. Just go more. Fantastic for his items. Like, oh, you want some arm penetration as well? Why not on the same? Great for you, MR, good shield.
They took my LeBlanc, so I took their lives. Over and over.
And then I suicided twice.
You gotta give
it is
something
G2.
back.
It is G2.
There's always something that
Comes
they're
at a
overstepping
price.
their bounds.
Always 2 steps forward, and then we need to have 1 step back.
Yeah, but then it's off a cliff.
And then also sometimes it comes a lot of steps back.
Yeah, G2 still rocking a pretty hefty lead right now. 24 minutes into this game. Baron has, of course, finished, but they keep the side waves pushed and dare Origen to step a foot out of line.
No. Then they die. They're waiting
They
for
don't take the dare.
G2 to make an over-aggressive play. Use a lot of cooldowns and trying to take them down when they use the Kindred ulti, then set up that wall with PowerOfEvil, and you start kiting back. Zed doesn't have a whole lot of value once that ulti is down for him. It's very difficult then for Perkz to actually go in and assassinate anyone.
OG needs to build a wall, make their team come great again.
I was hoping.
And they're gonna make G2 pay for it. All right, G2 trying to dive in and finish off the base, or at least start cracking it open. 25 minutes, that started to be the definition of G2 pushing forward and keeping it all going. These games have not lasted all that long today, that is for sure. But the mini wave is starting to go. There's On the Hunt popped, and G2 are just scrambling.
That must have came straight out of an H2K bot.
Probably they're proud after watching that ulti. his game plan coming in. But G2 definitely...
Confuse the opponent with your difficulties.
It'll be back soon. Don't worry.
Still, they're constantly looking for that one opening, but once you've taken all the outer turrets, it often becomes wait for Baron, and then force a fight around Baron or take the free Baron, and then use the fact that you can buff up minions in every single lane to just pile into the enemy base.
That's why sometimes going for too many of these early towers can bite you in the butt later on. When the map's kind of empty, you can't force it to the base.
You're kind of sitting there crying with all your money, though.
Yeah,
like,
my life is so hard. I only have a 10k gold advantage. But imagine if you were like on 3 or 4 dragons right now, you could at least start putting some dragon pressure to lure them out of the base into a trap and kill them. Right now you kind of have to wait for barons all over, and as we've seen before, I mean, barons have a nasty habit of just backfiring on people. Some of these important series.
If you don't set it up properly, you need deep wards around this blue buff here so you can TP in behind.
Fascinating subject overall.
With
Baron vision.
Yeah, it definitely is with the Ekko, and now you need to not get caught.
Unfortunately, Perkz did seem to miss the memo, but who is catching who as he just goes in and goes right on out, but SoaZ won't let go of him that easy. Perkz goes back in, takes out Zven. He is hanging around in all this. The Lamb's Respite will end, and he will fall, but not before G2 have started the collapse around. They don't want to take this fight, though. Emperor is not in the picture, or do they, rather? SoaZ, that's going to be Kikis flashing out, and Amazing trying to get the chase down on this one. It's absolutely insanity, and Kikis gets the big pickup. That is a 2-for-1 for all the blood.
Yeah, Mithy did a lot of work on that Zed ultimate, trying to cancel as many shurikens as he can, trying to randomly aim his shield to block one. But then Perkz, as he came back in, the Lamb's Respite went up too late, essentially saving Perkz, prolonging the fight. Let's see how that back end of that fight happened, because Perkz here gets caught by SoaZ, goes low, but somehow he goes back into the fight, finish off Zven.
See the timing. Oh, just a great ult from
Amazing's
Hybrid.
like, hey, I will reward you for that play with your life.
Zven was just outside that ulti from the part, and then Amazing obviously couldn't use ulti himself. Perkz realizes he gets the kill, and this wins the fight for G2, because right now Emperor is still not here. He's still running. Had Zven been alive at this point, it's going to look really bad for G2.
Yeah, but Perkz, he was trying to prove he deserved the title of Best Ninja. Believe it.
Hybrid has been having some good ultis in this one, either zoning off towers, you know, understanding when to use it to dive his turrets, and then in a fight like this.
This is quick. They're not hesitating for a moment to pull the trigger. Baron is lower than half health. SoaZ and Mithy are the only ones around. They have to give this one up. It's already gone. G2 with the quickie.
And that for me is the sign of one of the strengths, at least for G2, is the lack of hesitation on many of their players. Surely, it may not always be the perfect, you know, skill shot. It may be misplaced, and you can pinpoint and slow the replay down and say, yeah, an inch to the left would have been better. But they play so fast and with relatively decent accuracy overall, and that's what makes them such a hard team to play against, because Hybrid not afraid to ever pull that trigger. G2, in a whim, can just start a team fight. Sometimes it goes wrong, but they don't really get flustered. They just do it again right after. Like it doesn't feel like they get punished for the mistakes mentally.
And this goes back to one of the points, you know, from game one, with a team who's not afraid to play what a lot of European teams can maybe call like the scrim style, where you are very aggressive, and yeah, okay, you mess up once and you might lose the game from it, but next game, you know, you can always go next game. You can say we need to keep playing this very high tempo style, and a lot of European teams don't play this style.
Reckless abandon, as opposed to letting everything get right into your head. G2 can now send Trick to solo out Dragon number 3, keep the 1-3-1 on, and just shuffle around the map, denying Origen the chance to really collapse for a team fight.
Ooh, Hybrid looking for Tempered Fate on the Azir. When PoE uses his dash, it will not complete if Tempered Fate stops it.
Oh, turn back to Perkz. Oh! Okay!
Judging by the pings, he actually hit that one on PowerOfEvil, by the way.
He did. Power is going to fall oh so low as Kikis Chrono breaks back in. Power's going to get slain, and Emperor gets the credit. Mithy and Amazing nearly fall. This is going to be G2 trying to press their advantage here. How far can they take this with the 2 main damage dealers dead?
Oh, Pyro, they're going to take another inhib now. Might even try and push for the finish. 2 carries are dead from OG, but they're going to play it safe for now.
You kids definitely are going to go far, but they now turn their attention back towards the Nexus turrets, or rather onto Amazing, who burns his flat. SoaZ, though, will answer back to Hybrid. Amazing is going to get batted away by Kikis to dominate this one. SoaZ back to Fountain. Will it even keep him alive? It looks like it, but it doesn't matter if the Nexus is going down. And G2, once again, take a huge convincing